So, as I mentioned, I am Vicky. You can see two of me on the screen because I've got Linda logged in under one of our Zooms. But I work for the Linda Ray team, kind of behind the scenes. And so Linda wanted to just have this fun little event for you girls online since we weren't, and gentlemen, if there are any here, online. To just kind of kick off the holiday season. I know you guys have all of those beautiful lights in Rochester, so make sure you get downtown and check those out. I know that the Festival of Trees has now turned into a virtual event, so make sure that you check out Rochester's DDA page so you can see all of those happenings that are taking place. But for tonight, we have our special guest, Sherry. And Sherry's going to tell you a little bit about what she does for a living. Her Linda is actually a client of Sherry. She's done some beautiful work for Linda in her home, and so Sherry will explain a little bit of that, what that is. And Sherry's also going to do a mantle class next week for you guys, I believe on Tuesday.
Right.
Paula and Linda went to a mantle class that Sherry put on, and everything was stunning. I mean, it was absolutely beautiful. It looks like a magazine. And so she's going to kind of walk us through that next week as well. Excuse me. But I do want to encourage you before we get started tonight. We have a few things that we're going to throw in here periodically just throughout the evening. This is going to be, I know for a lot of you, you may have already gotten your supplies, and that's wonderful. Excuse me. But Sherry explained to me, and if you're a crafter, you probably already know this, but this is not, a quick 30-minute project. So it's not something that you're just going to sit down right now and bam, it's going to be done. She actually said it took her a couple of hours. So what she's going to do is she has a finished wreath behind her, and then she has a partially started wreath that she's kind of going to work on and show you guys the details as she goes. Excuse me. So on that note, I'm going to go ahead and have Sherry introduce herself and then go ahead and get us started.
I have had the privilege to do part of Linda's home, a few rooms, and just recently did another room in her home. So I work all over. My business is strictly custom and residential. So I do not do blinds. I only do drapery treatments. And the name of my business is Creations by Sherry Lynn, and you can find me on the internet under creationsbysherrylynn.net. It has a portfolio of pictures and things like that, but we do anything from small jobs to complete houses. So that's what I've been doing for the last 20 some years. And you happen to be in my workroom, which if I turned it around, there's drapes hanging everywhere, ready to go, 3 jobs tomorrow morning. And so that keeps me busy most of the time. But I've been a crafter my whole life, have taught some classes for the local parks and recs. And then probably about 5 years ago, I decided, well, I'm going to do in-home classes. And they've mainly been in my house. I've also taught, which has kind of stopped because of the way things are in our world right now, but at Heritage Gardens. It's a beautiful landscape place, and they have a really cool barn, and last year I taught quite a few classes there. Okay, so let's just talk about flipping the wreath first before we start. So when I'm doing this, I'm just taking almost I kind of start like this, and you're going to get a little bit of a mess with the little things. I'm just fluffing it up good. And just kind of what you want them to do is stick straight out, stick to the side, but you want the wreath to have dimension to it. So that's the first thing that you're going to do. So it's going to take me a minute. And if you guys have questions about anything, just feel free to ask. I mean, I can talk and work at the same time. That doesn't bother me at all. Can you guys see what I'm doing? Or?
Yeah, it looks great.
Okay. What I might do, it's kind of hard when you're working like this. I don't like to do that. What I do when I work on my wreaths is, oh, this is a tip. Okay, but what I do is I actually have a large suction cup for my front door, and I buy it at You can buy it at Michael's. It's about, I'd say 4 inches in diameter, because I happen to have a glass door and a front door. And I've never been a fan of putting a wreath between the two doors and then you squish it, and if you have a wreath like this, it's not fitting between two doors. So, I'm talking and I feel rude. You guys can't see me. So anyways, so, I got my desktop computer here and I'm just
That's cute.
face. I put it on a suction cup, and I'm not kidding you. My wreaths have a lot of stuff on them, and they never fall down ever. But it's at Michael's. It's literally about that big. It's got a really nice hook on it, and maybe at the end or when Linda talks, if she talks in the middle, I'll run and get the suction cup off my front door.
You know what I use? I get them at Michael's. They're double magnets that have hooks on the inside and the outside, and they hold about 100 pounds. I mean, this magnet, because I have a full glass outside door, and I have you just put it in between. Someone has to be on the other side, because when those magnets suck, they go bam. But it's really beautiful. It's like a oiled bronze, and you can get whatever matches. And it has it so you can have a hook on the inside and the outside. So depending on where I need to hang something, and it looks nice.
Yeah.
So it's going to be visible. It even looks nice.
What department is that in, or section?
And you know where they have their wreath molds, the frames?
Yeah.
It's in that section. Joann's has it there. Michael's has it there. And Hobby Lobby's, I think, is there as well.
Okay, great. Well, I learned
Really nice, especially if you needed something ornate, because I just got brand new doors, so I was really kind of OCD about what I was doing.
Right. Okay. Well, that's a great suggestion. All right.
Hey, Sherry, while you continue fluffing, Linda, did you want to add anything?
Yes, I wanted to say thanks for everybody joining today, and I'm glad you guys are recording this, because I would like to have it passed on to as many people as you can. It's a Merry Christmas from the team. I thought instead of sending out a lot of Christmas cards this year, we would get this going. And actually, I left my notes at my house. I'm over at Paula's right now. Sorry. I believe, what date is that? 28th, Vicki, or 20? We're going to have next Tuesday. Sherry's going to do the wreath for us. Not the wreath, but the mantle. 2 years ago or so, Sherry had a class at her house, and I learned a lot about doing mantles. And I think, it's going to profit me the rest of my life. Just little nuggets like she's giving us today. And I'm so glad to have everybody share too with the different ladies, what little things they can do. But the COVID out here today, I hate to mention that word, but it just seems like we all need to do some family things and find something to do to fill our time. And instead of buying a wreath this year, maybe make one or make two and give it to somebody. I think it's very meaningful. So thank you for being with us. I really enjoy it. And thanks, Vicki, for hosting.
All right, so I'm going to grab two. I'm going to actually grab 4 pipes. Grab it. So all I did is, whenever I use the pipe cleaners, I always just fold them in half and find the middle. Okay. And then I'm just going to put it right on here like that. And I'll hold it up once I staple it. I just don't want to get my finger. You see how I did it? So I'm going to put it on in 4 places really quick. I have some way of attaching it. And then for the ribbon, all you have to do is I want to see where I want to put this, how far in. I probably shouldn't have stapled it on first, but it'll be good. So I'm just going to take a little bit of hot glue, and here's a little trick with glue guns, or if you're a card maker like some of you are. What I have found works great is we all get these kind of thick magazines, or this is from Uline. I know all the time. And what I do is when I get this to stand up. When I'm using a glue stick, for example, I start this way. I open up a page from the back, and I use my glue stick on here. Like, here's my paper or whatever craft thing I'm working on. I glue here, And then when I'm done with that page, I flip it. And now I don't have any glue on any. That makes sense to you guys? So it's just a little trick that I learned, and I've shared that so many times, and people are like, oh, that's a great idea. But I always have, or old magazines work great too. So I'm just putting a dollop of glue in here. Come on. Okay. And then I'm just going to take this and I'm going to glue it right there onto there. It's hot. Okay. And then I'm going to just wrap it here like that so you can see what I'm doing. And then I'm going to cut it off. And it's just, you know, I mean, it's something you don't even have to do to add the ribbon. It was a cute sign to start off with, but it's just all those little things that sometimes when you add all that up, it just looks even cuter. So I've got that there, and there you go. So just adding a little bit to it. And I'm going to do it again. So there you go. So it's all done. So let's get this out of the way and just throw that there. Okay. That looks good. All right. I'm going to get the glue gun out of the way. And I'm going to grab the wreath. And what I'm going to do, so I'm just going to take these little tails of pipe cleaner, and I'm going to cram it in there, but I don't want to put it so far back. I still want it to have some dimension. And literally I am going to, and I'm going to turn it around, trying to work backwards here. I'm going to grab the pipe cleaner. Let me just see what I'm doing here for a second. Okay. So do you see how I fed the pipe cleaner through the wire here? Does everyone see that? Is that good enough? And then I'm just going to twist it and twist it. Do it a few times because you don't want that coming undone. And then I'm going to do it again. Let me just get this even. So now that's on there pretty sturdy, really sturdy. So I'm going to go for the other, I'm going to do it on the other two also. So now it is on there. It's good. So the next thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to use this right here. And I'm going to give you some measurements too to help you out with that. So that's important. So with this tool, we need 9 of them, okay? And we want them to be 20-inch cuts. Now I've already cut 6 of them and have them together just so that we can get through this. But I'm just going to lay it down. Here's my 20 mark, and I'm just cutting. I'm going to do that really quick 3 more times. So this is what it's going to look like when we're done. Okay, here's my little things, and here's this. But I'm going to show you the trick with that is what we want to do. This stuff really frays. It's kind of, I don't know. So I don't like that part. So what I do, let me just get this to kind of flatten out a little. Okay, is I want to take this and I want to roll it up a little bit. So the raw edge, I'm going to show you once I get it going here. See how the raw edge is now inside? Totally eyeball this. I'm going to take my fingers and they're going to gather. And I'm going to gather this up as I'm going along. Gather, 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 gather. Till I get to about here. And I want to do the same thing there. I want to roll that in. Okay, so now I've got it all gathered. Does that make sense to everybody? So I got it in half. All I'm doing is taking this and I am wrapping it. Just give it 3 turns and then we're good. See? So we got to do that 2 more times. So once again, I'm turning that in, like getting that raw edge in there. Okay. And then I'm doing my little gather stitch with my fingers. Okay, I'm turning that edge in so I get the raw part inside. And then I'm grabbing it and I'm going to do it again. One last time. All right, so now what we need to do is we need to attach these. I know my bow is going right here, so I'm not going to put anything right there right now. If I need to put filler in, I will later. but I'm going to work myself around. We know that we have 9 of them. So let me just start. I'm going to start like right about here. And all I'm going to do is take the 2 wire things and we're working the same way. I'm going to push it through and I'm going to find that wire that's in the back. And I'm kind of spreading it open. Do you see that? So I'm not crunching everything. But you don't want to pull it so it's so far tucked in there you don't see it. Okay? So I'm giving it a twist, and a twist. And there it is, right there. Okay? So there's our first one. Thing we're going to do is we are going to make these little bows. Now, the one thing I'll tell you that I didn't like about this ribbon is when you cut it, it frayed.
Nice.
Easily. So what I did, and I'm going to show you, is I didn't leave it a cut edge. I curled it in and
Glued it. Okay.
fine thing of glue, hot glue, and encased it. So it's not going to fray because I just didn't want that to happen. The burlap is good. It's not fraying, but this buffalo check got 2 loops. Can you see that? And 1 loop of the burlap and 2 tails for the burlap and 1 tail for the buffalo check. So I've got, let's see, how many did I make? I made 3. We need 5 of them. And so we need to make 2. So we're going to do that right now. So I'm going to tell you the measurements that we need. For the black, we need a cut of 31 inches. All right, so I'm going to cut that. So I'm going to first cut it at 31. And what I would recommend is if you guys are doing this, like do it how I did it, like make all your red things, you know, all your red tufts first, then these, then you have it all ready and you can assemble it. So I would suggest, generally I cut on an angle or I dovetail. And what dovetailing means is you put the 2 sides together and you give it a cut like this down into it. That's called a dovetail. Or you can do it like that. Okay, I never do a straight cut. But because I don't like the way this ribbon is working, I'm making a straight cut because I'm going to glue it. And I'll show you how I did that. I'm just cutting it right here. I'm going to do my 2 31-inch cuts real quick just to have it done. All right, good. And all I did for this is I just folded it like a 1/2 inch in, 1/2 inch, then another 1/2 inch. And because it's got the wire on the edge, it'll see how it's already staying. So then I just take my glue, and not a lot of glue because you don't want to burn your fingers. But just really light. Just ever so quickly. Okay, so I got that all done. All right, so that's that. And then, I don't need that again. And then you need to cut the burlap, and that you're going to cut at 24 inches. Okay, I'm going to cut that 24. 24. Well, I guess I should have cut that. Measured it. Cut it. 24. I'm going to do it on an angle. And I already got an angle here. And 24. Okay. All right. So to make this how I do it, everyone's got their own way. I put the glued side down. I'm measuring 6 inches. And I'm grabbing it. Okay. Then I'm bringing this edge into where I grabbed it and overlapping it maybe about 1 inch, a 1/2 inch, so it's in there. Okay. So now I got 1 big loop and a tail. All right. Then I got my halfway point right here and I'm bringing it right to the middle right there. All right. I'm going to take this just because I'm showing you guys. I would do this all in one step with both of them, but so just take that and just give it a little scrunch. And here's my 24 inches. I'm going to do a 6-inch tail. I'm going to grab it. And this one has 2 tails on it. So actually, let's just do it like this. This will be easier for you guys. I'm going to bring the 2 ends together. I'm going to measure 6 inches right there. So there's a little loop. Here's my 2 tails. I'm going to put that in where I scrunched that. I'm going to remove this, and now I'm going to add them together. Does that make sense? Do it again, and I'll go a little bit slower. So I've got my 6 inches. Here's my 6-inch tape. Okay, right here. I'm bringing this end, and I'm grabbing it with the 6-inch tail. I'm just putting this right here, laying it on there, and cinching it. You understand that now?
Yep.
Okay. So I've got my tail. I'm holding it. So I got a circle. I'm working with 2 hands. I'm going to take these 2. I put them together. I'm going to measure out about 6 inches. And I'm just going to meet that there. So now I've got 2 loops. These are all 6 inches. I've got my tails. I'm going to grab my pipe cleaner. And we're ready to go. I've got that. Okay. If you guys are stuck, just let me know. All right. So we've got that. The other one we need, there's 2 different types of bows that I used on this one. So this one needed 5 of these, and now we have 5. And the other one is a little bit different. We need 8 of these. All it is, there's no black tail. Okay, so it's 2 rabbit ears and 2 tails for burlap. So the cuts on these are, let me just see. Okay, so the check, you need 24 inches. Okay, so 24 inches, I'm going to measure that twice. One here. One here. So I've got my 2 pieces that I need. And then the jute, I need, you need the jute to be 13 inches. Okay, a 13-inch piece, and I need one more 13-inch piece. Let me measure that out. Okay, got it. All right. And this one, let me get this stuff out of the way so you guys can see. So this one I'm going to lay down on the table. And all I'm going to do is find my halfway point. Okay, I got that there. I kind of bent it and I know it's right there. I'm going to overlap. I've got my half, I'm measuring it half. Okay, here's my halfway point. I bring this over about a 1/2 inch past the halfway. Does that make sense? Because I'm going to overlap this. Okay. I'm going to overlap it, and all I'm going to do is cinch it right there. Now I've got my 2, like my little bow.
Yeah.
Make sense? Okay. And then this one's super easy. I'm just going to take my 13-inch piece. I'm going to fold it in half. Okay. I'm going to put it right in the middle. Cinch it with a pipe cleaner. So that's it.
Got it.
So really, we just got to do 1 more of these, and we've got all our elements pretty much made except for the little filler pieces. All right, so this bow, okay, so this has 5 loops of the buffalo check, and then it's got this in the center. So how I do it is, so I want this to have a nice tail. So I'm going to say that the tail I'm going to leave is probably, I think I wrote something down here. I'm going to leave about a good 12 inches for a tail. And just kind of measuring. I'm going to make these loops about 7 inches. Okay. Because I want them to be kind of big. And all I'm doing is I'm cinching it right here. Okay. The trick is, this is not a 2-sided ribbon where that buffalo check is. So what I do is I've got it cinched. I flip it. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to bring it in. And now I've got this. Technically, you probably should measure. Let me just see. I think I'm only going to make these 6 inches. I think that looks a little big. Okay, that's probably about 6. I'm going to flip it. And I'm going to bring it in. And I'm going to cinch it. So now I've got 2. Okay. Now I've got to flip it again. And cinch it. And you just want to kind of keep them the same size. Right there. And then turn it. I'm going to cinch it again. You see how it's coming along here? Okay. And then I'm going to do it one more time. Hard when you're trying to work this way. I go this way, sorry. And there we go. Okay, there is 5. Okay. I've got it all in here. And then we've got the tail. And we want to cut a nice cut that for the tail. So here, what I am going to do is I am going to put the pipe cleaner on here. Center bow, I'm going to leave about 12 inches for that also, tail. And this one is only 3 pieces. So it's 1 right here. I'm going to cinch it. This one I don't have to flip because it's the same on both sides. You don't have to worry. Here's my second one. And then how you finish the center of the bow so you don't see that pipe cleaner is you make a little, all you do is make a little loop, just like that. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. There, bring it to the center, and then I'm making a little loop right there. I'm grabbing it, and I'm going to do the pipe cleaner again. Okay. So now I'm just going to add that to the center of this one. Let me just get my tails all going in the right direction. We'll fix that once I get this all. I'm just twisting, 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 making this nice and tight. Now I really got 4 pipe cleaners going. Okay. Okay. There it is in there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it over to the wreath, grab my 2 ends like this. Really, there's 4, but I'm combining them together. And I am trying to, you don't want to pull too tight so it gets sucked down into the wreath. Ooh, that's pretty. Okay. So we got that. So now what we just need to start doing is we're going to start with the 5 of these, the ones that have the tails for the black and the tails for here. And what I'm going to do is I want to work in between these, okay? In between each of these clusters, because that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but we'll use one of the other ones, so that's fine. Okay, so I'm just taking this once again, and this one, I'm trying to figure out where I am. I think I'm going on the outside again with this one. For the sake of time, I'm going to just twist it a couple times and I'll go through and tighten up everything after we're done here. But you have to fluff and buff and everything like that. It's not going to be perfect till you kind of play with it. You got to spread out your little round rabbit ears, kind of move them around and go like that. So you can see how the wreath is filling in real quick. Okay, so let's go on to this one here. This one here. See how I'm moving the greenery so that I can put this in. And I want to. There's that one. I'm going to walk over here. Sorry. when you are done decorating your tree, take a few pictures. Take a few pictures of your mantle. This will be a trick I'll tell you in the mantle class. Take a picture of the mantle, write down, I label everything, because the first time you do it, it's going to take you maybe 3 hours to do it. The second time you do it, it's going to take you 2 hours because the idea is already created.
Right.
That's the hard part.
Right.
So if you have everything labeled and stuff, it'll go up boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
So,
It's true. Yes.
okay. So the other ones that are different, you know, and I'm going to start filling in those in the spots that need to be done. Now, this is where I am not, right now, I'm not even attaching it to a wire. I am literally attaching it to a piece because I want it to be closer in and I don't want it to suck farther down. So see how that one's sticking out a little bit farther? It's hard probably for you to see, but it's got a little more dimension now. And I don't like how that's going. I want to separate those. See how I did that instead of having a whole separate thing. So I'm going to start filling in with these. So like I said, right now I am not attaching them to the wire. I am attaching them to a piece of greenery. And that's pretty much how I do the mantle class and my Christmas tree. I attach it right to greenery. Are put together with wire. So now I got 2 each, okay? But this one's still connected and this one's falling apart. So all I did is just literally twist them together. But what we also want to do is, this is way too long. So I'm just taking my wire cutters, snipping them and making them shorter. Okay. For the sake of time, I already did all the other ones that I need. And I used 9 of them. I have more than 9 here. So too hard to wire in. And my next purchase I want to get is one of those floral machines, but they're expensive. And but I think I'm going to get one. So anyway, so what I am going to do is I'm just going to glue it in. And that's how I did the other one. And that's how I've always done my wreaths anyways. So I have below me, I put an old sheet because more than likely it's going to drip. And I do not want it dripping on the carpet. I'm running a bead of glue pretty good on there because I want the glue to grab onto something. Now this is where it can start dripping. So I'm kind of letting it set up for a second. Bend them, and we might use more than 9. Okay, so the next one I'm putting in here. I'm just making sure it's grabbing onto some greenery. So I'm going to maybe twist, I might even twist the greenery around the stem. That's probably a good idea. Then I know it's grabbed onto it. Okay. So there's that. And what I'll do is when I'm all done with the wreath, I usually go and tug on things. If it moves, then it's going to get some more glue. I'm gluing it. So you guys, I'm just kind of putting glue on it. And I'm just going to start putting it in. And then I'm going to take the greenery and just kind of wrap it around so the glue's really grabbed onto a piece of greenery. And I probably shouldn't have done it that way. I kind of point these outward. I had that going in and I don't like that. We've got 2 more things to add. Okay, so the next thing are the berry picks. All right, and remember that was one big clump. What I did is I ripped it apart. Let me go down now. Sorry. Okay, so I ripped it apart into individual little picks. I'm going to put 2 at a time. Same thing like with the white one. I just twist them together. Okay, so I've got this. This is how I ripped it apart. Let me show you. So this one's still connected, all in one thing. Like weird kind of round paper stems. So I'm just ripping it and it comes apart in pieces.
Okay.
So there, it all came apart and I just got to cut this last one that was left on the step. Okay. So I just want to take these now. I'm not going to put them going out this way. Do you see? And let me show you what I mean. If I put it out here, they get kind of lost. I'll put a few out, but I want them to be more this way. So it's showing up against that black sign a little bit. So I'm going to take it, put my glue on it. And wrap it around. That one. And the greenery that we add in the end is going to fill in the holes. The remainder I'm going to fill on the outside. I'm going to use the whole bunch of them. I'm going to put one here, I think. So that's what we've got. The last thing we need to do is the greenery. Okay, and that's going to kind of just make a difference. What I want to do is just fool with it for 1 second and move my ribbons where I want them. This ribbon, because it's not real thick, it's not real heavy like the one you get at Bourdain's, you kind of got to play with it because the rabbit ears will kind of flatten out. So I'm kind of poofing them out. Okay. All right, so the greenery, all I did was, I'm going to cut, let me do this. Okay, so the greenery comes on a stem like this, all right? And if you guys want, if you're interested in this specific one, I can read you the number. It's $16.99. It's in with the floral stuff. And if you ask the girl at, they have like little iPad computers, just give her the number and she'll tell you where to find it. It's 402198. Okay, 402198. All right. So I'm just clipping off one branch. And this I am leaving a little bit long. So, and then I'm splitting that branch. So I've got 2 tops. Can you see them? So I'm going to get 2 out of 1. So I'm just coming in here, cutting it down here. So now I've got a stem to glue in, there. Okay. So now I'm going to put my glue on here again. Just be careful with it. And I'm just going to start filling it in. But it makes a big difference. It gives it more dimension. It's popping out like this. That's what you want. You don't want the wreath to be flat. You want some pieces coming out toward you. What do you guys think?